I can't stress enough that when sending targeted marketing campaigns, it's always best to personalize the content. So personalizing your content lifts revenues by 5 to 15%, which is massive. And at the most basic level, you really need to be putting at least their first name and emails and whatnot. But there are quite a lot of advanced businesses out there that focus on industry, the language used, logos and whatnot, like I've laid out here. But what I mean by that is, if you're going to send a legal campaign, let's say a legal email out, make sure that you're writing in like legal sector and solicitors, and using the fact that that is their industry, using language that they're likely to use, but also including some logos of, say, some of their competitors that you might already be working with, and testimonials from them. I know that it's just building that trust, building that I don't know, what's the word, Tim? Like, you do this quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah, to me, the word I'm going to use a lot throughout this is focus. So, it shows if you do this level of personalization, it's going to help you leverage the success that you've had with organizations through case studies, through testimonial quotes, through showing that you really understand that particular industry. And one of the industries we first engaged in was the commercial property sector. And that's been a really useful way for us to network and our way into other organizations within that space, and also develop the relationship with our existing customers in that market, because they can see that we understand their particular sector. So I think it comes back to understand what it is you're looking for, whether it could be industry, it could be a particular location, it could be a particular size, it could be other sources of focus. But if you really genuinely understand those, it's going to be very easy for you to demonstrate that through personalization.
And I think that leads us quite nicely onto this slide.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier, Tim, weren't we? That, the best place to start, it really is creating a persona for each of your target audiences that you're trying to contact, because it allows you to be really focused in your message.
Yeah, it does. And as you know, at TaylorMade, we did a persona mapping exercise within the legal market in advance of writing a white paper, and we came up with this persona. His nickname was Peter Persona, and it really enabled us to kind of encapsulate all the various aspects of the ideal buyer in the legal market that we wanted to go after. And just like this is kind of really simple way to understand the goals, the frustrations, the pain areas that they have, and the likely background of someone in that market. We have then evolved that, as well as doing that in marketing terms. We've also evolved that in our roadmaps. So we use personas as well in terms of understanding different people's and different departments' use of technology. So, the use of technology from a road warrior salesperson in a particular sector is going to be very different to the finance team or the manufacturing team. And actually building personas out, which the end customer will never have done, is a really good way to kind of illustrate the fact that their users have different needs of technology.
Yeah, and that goes the same for selling, I guess, as well, because in this example here, I've used an IT director, and this person doesn't want the cheapest deal. He doesn't want to have, something quite picture orientated and just sell me this with a couple of figures. They probably want, all of the detail. They're really cautious. They want to make sure they're putting in the right product. So it's making sure that you tailor your sales, your marketing, and what technologies you're providing based on who you're speaking to.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that people have got such limited time that the messaging, particularly around people's frustrations, has got to come across really quickly and very clearly, because that's probably the thing that's going to resonate with them most.
Yeah, and that brings us quite nicely onto this slide, actually. So here I've pulled a couple of MSPs here that I've just pulled off LinkedIn, and they're doing a really good job at the moment. And I just think, GCI, for example, on the left, they focused specifically on the frustrations and fears of the business. So are you prepared, prevent and detect attacks? And it's just, yeah, it's just a great way to try and get people to click on, because obviously as the end user, they're like, well, of course I want to be prepared, of course I want to protect my business. And then on the right, we've got Olive Communications, and they've specifically focused on a legal sector. And some of the words that they've used, you know, it's saying, you know, do you want to shape the law firm of the future? Well, yeah, of course they do. So they're more likely to click on these because they are personalized. So even if you're not doing it, you know, via an email where you're specifically saying their name, you can still personalize it with other areas like fears and motivations, goals, and their industry and whatnot.
Yeah, as I said to you earlier, I don't think we're doing this well enough, actually. And there are two good examples here of MSPs that are doing it well. I think one of the things that I've noticed, just as a sort of tangent on this, is that people from a variety of sectors want to go to events like this. And when we get back to real world events, they want to go to them because it gives them network opportunities. It enables them to learn from other sectors and from their peer group within their sector. And I think that that's not to be underestimated in terms of, I think people will be keen to get back to doing real world face-to-face events quite quickly once they can.